Okay, so that was fun. I just realized I wasn't recording audio for the last little bit. I don't remember what I said at this point, um, but this is something that I'm looking for your set for your roofs. Um, so at some point I was building that little slope where I had a 12-inch run with a 4-inch slope. So this is a 412, so it goes up 4 inches for every 12 inches it runs. And then I drew that little thing with a bunch of 1-inch increments. So just to reiterate what you guys wouldn't have heard is so like this would be a 412, this would be a 512, this would be a 612, and so on. So this is how we actually talk about how the slope of a roof is built. 412 is completely fine for my class, and then this is kind of what I'm expecting right here as far as what you should be creating. I don't care if you do this style or this style, and theoretically this should be higher up, but I mean this is what I'm looking for in terms of a section cut, though this isn't a good one for my model. Another thing I was talking about was creating the built-ins here that go for that were added to my utility space here. So the counter that's over here, what I mentioned was this comes up 36 inches. You have a 1 inch down, 1 inch back. That'll give you the countertop, and then from the bottom you have from the counter face 3 inches back and 3 from the floor. That gives you the toe kick. This was that shelf that I put over my washer dryer unit right here that will also be built in. Some of you might have, oh, I need to do that closet too. Some of you might have a section cut going through your kitchen. So you would need to do something similar to this for that kitchen space right there. Um, so let me do that closet real quick. Um, Again, I'll just grab this line right here. Um, these are hung at, oh, I don't remember. Okay, the Google says 66 inches. So we'll grab this line right here, offset 66 inches up. So that will be our pole height right there, 1 inch or 1 foot from the back rather. So if I just move this 1 foot over, and then we do a, let's switch to diameter 1 inch. So that right there is the pole. And then let me get the closet height. So closet shelf height. Looks like, let's see what Bob Villa has to say on this. Bob Villa doesn't say. Well, let's do 3 inches above the center of that. That feels right. So I'll just offset this 3 inches up. And then I was using 1'3" for the front of that. So now I can grab that and just move it back. We'll offset this 1 inch, cover the face of this, and get rid of that. And then again, we'll hatch, I think this was the right one, to indicate that there's something minor cutting through here. So the hatches indicate minor cut. This is something that isn't physically permanent in the building, whereas the solid hatch, basically the fill, indicates that there is a permanent thing that is going on there. So that's our section cut. This is our elevations. I have 15 or 16 more elevations to go. I have no idea how I'm going to break this video up tonight, but I'm probably going to just keep jamming and get the rest of this done. Yeah, that whole last video is kind of a way. I forget everything I talked about. Let me look that over real quick and I'll get back to you guys. Okay, so I'm skimming back over the video. It looks like I was discussing just the different layers that I had added in here. So I have appliances for appliances like the fridge and this. I have the plumbing layer. I had mentioned that I've got the little circles here that indicates the drainage for these showers, the bathtubs, and then it's something that helps differentiate a sink. I was talking about how I had created this built-in for the walk-in closet, and then I think I had mentioned too that I'm going to need to create different elevation markers. So this one, I'm not going to show an elevation of nothing on this side of this space, so it would just need a 134. This one would need I probably wouldn't actually do an elevation of this because there's nothing really in that space. This one would be a 123, and then this one would be a 124. So I will have to create new elevation markers for some of these spaces. Let me skim through here a little bit more. I missed making the bed of furniture. And then I got on to creating those cabinets in the section cut, building that, building the roofs, and that was it. Yeah. So this I think will be my last break for this, and I'm just gonna jam out the rest of my elevations now. Um, what am I at? A couple hours. Ugh. I think I'm getting close to 2.5 hours right now. So I'm just gonna jam out the rest of my elevations. Um, oh, I should probably go over these. So when I created these, the hidden lines right here, I have two different types. So I have a lower, so I have my floor lower with one line type, and I have my upper with another line type. So that helps differentiate what's going on. So the cabinets, the poles for the closets, the upper cabinets here, those are all the shelf that's right here. Those are all designated by that by the upper one, whereas the cut for the dishwasher, this section of the sink of the countertop that's below the sink, those are all designated as lower. And then I have, I think I mentioned too, the doors here. So this is a 4 inch interior wall. I have offset 1, offset 2, offset 1. This door is the width of this space, and then you close that off. So this gives you a pocket door in case that comes up for anyone. So, like I said, that's about it. I'm going to jam out the rest of these elevations and then start figuring out how I'm going to stitch all of this lecture, all these lectures together. So, back to the fast forward. All right, so I'm gonna cut in here one last time. I have gotten most of the rooms done in this little jam right here. I still have the kitchen, dining room, living room, and my other space that I haven't determined what I'm using for. Don't worry about, I'll delete them just so that we're all on the same page here. You're not doing the garage elevations. I was just putting markers around, don't know why. So don't do the garage, or if you have one, a shop. We're looking at only interior spaces. Do not do closets unless it is a large walk-in closet like I did with that example right there. A couple things I want to mention. So as I was going around, what is this? Did I do this one wrong? Actually, I think I did that one wrong. So a couple things I've done here. If you watched what I was doing, there was a lot of like copying and pastings, right? So I'd take this door and I pasted it here. I took that door and I pasted it here, and then I mirrored it for this one. I did this desk, and then I did this desk, and I just extended part of it, or I think that's the way I did it, and then this got mirrored over here. Um, Other things I did, like this cabinet got mirrored around a whole bunch of times, right? This little shelf with the pole, and the cabinet, I actually copied and pasted some of those things from this section that I had already done. So when you're doing this, think about different ways that you can reuse things you've already drawn. I was honestly dreading doing this space, the walk-in closet, because I was like, oh God, how bad is this shelf going to be? And then I just realized, okay, well, knock these out, copy this from, I think I had to make the the sliding door right here. That was the hardest part. This all came together pretty quickly. And then these two faces are basically identical. I could have mirrored them to each other too. Um, and then same thing with, I think honestly, this utility room was probably the worst. And even then I got to copy this cabinet several times. Same with that shelf. So, oh yeah, and the toilet was also something else I was really worried about doing a profile of, but I got it. So, um, yeah, just as you're going, just keep an eye out for things that you can mirror. Um, oh right, I can't even do my dining room because there's nothing to show in this space because it's just like a chunk of wall. Oh, that reminds me. The other thing I wanted to show you guys was the hallway here, which is this hallway facing into this direction. So I don't have a separate elevation marker for this space right here. So the elevation is simply this 2 right here. Um, and I want to talk about this right here versus this opening right here. So on that wall right here, this is that entry into that hallway where the utility room is. Again, this is right here. So what I have here is this is an entrance into a new space, right? So I actually did an offset of 7 feet from the ground for this. And then something that I did to designate that this is an open, just an entryway in a new space, is I actually have, this is one thing that's nice about doing these baseboards, is if you just come in a little bit, I think this is a 1/2 inch, let me double check, yeah, 1/2 inch with that baseboard. If you just notch that in a little bit, I think it makes it a little bit clearer that this is, the baseboards continue through here and this is just an opening into that space. Continuing around, so we're going through the front door and then the other side of this hallway here. And what I've done here is a similar thing. So I have this notch, but I didn't do a 7-foot offset. I'm considering this an open area that's part of that. So if we were looking at this, you'd actually see like some kind of um, uh, little space right here in the upper area where this would have like framing going across the top, but this one wouldn't. This would be a flat ceiling all through this space. Again, assuming that I didn't do this, which I'm not even going to get into for this project. We're covering a lot of ground already, and I have 3 hours of video to edit tonight. So, um, don't go crazy on detail, I think is the other thing I wanted to mention. Like this is my cabinet. Keep your cabinet simple. I've had students do things like scalloping on the doors and drawing individual like handles and things. Please don't do that. Don't try and draw your sink faucets and your elevations. It's madness. I mean, eventually you can copy and paste it around somewhere, but don't bother. I did make the front door look kind of nice because I thought that was important. Uh, my rule of thumb and things that I hash like this is if it's attached to that wall, and you would have to kind of cut through it, and what I do is I kind of just imagine there's like a 2 foot. Oh, I haven't done that bedroom either, did I? Oh no, I need to add a bed to this. I try to imagine that there's like a 2 foot cut. So we'll take this room right here, this bathroom. So if I was to offset each of these about 2 foot, um, 2 foot, you'd see that as I'm cutting through this space, um, I'd have kind of different places where it would look, right? So this would see the front, or sorry, let's start at the top. Where did this one go? Offset 2 foot. So this would probably be a little bit into this countertop. If it's the only thing that's there, I'd kind of envision it here. So it would cut through this countertop. So that's why I had this. There we go. This one up here. So that's why I had this top face right here cut through this countertop. There's nothing. Oh, I need to do bathtub on the other side. So nice thing about having all this the way it is I can just copy this and then we'll mirror it. So just to point out, this is how I was mirroring a lot of the stuff, and then we'll just get that right there. So then this bathtub, and actually I think I can probably just delete this, stop it. This fill right here, because I did that for that one right there. So this would pass through basically the plane that we're working on in both cases of the tub, but the toilet's not far enough out from the wall. I see a thing, sorry. There we go. The toilet's not far enough out, and the countertop or the counter face is not far enough out. So maybe it's closer to a 1'8" or so. Things like basically, if it's built in and it's something that you'd have to cut to see, that's when I cut things. And it's kind of like in this case, I probably could have made this go in a bit and then come down and modeled the underside of the desk, but we've got things to do. Same thing here. This is a built-in. This is an appliance that's going to take up that space. So it's the temporality of things. Whereas here, I didn't feel it was important for me to show like cut through this because it's not against this wall right here. So those are kind of just decisions that I made as what we're creating here is a communication. This is me communicating my design to the builders, and so in that process, this is what I'm feeling is relevant. Something else I did for this shower that I haven't shown here is I need to have some kind of hatching. So we'll throw in some hatching there. I'd probably make something different. Theoretically, I'd probably need to do something around this bathtub too, to indicate that there's tile or something there. But we'll just throw that in real quick. Bed, again, I didn't get too fancy. This whole room was basically just copied and pasted and/or mirrored. So yeah, that's where I am. I'm not too far out. Like I said, I just basically have the kitchen and the living room. I wouldn't spend too much time doing like dining room chairs and such, just because they're kind of a pain. If you watched me draw the legs for this is kind of the way that I would draw a chair, but it's super tedious drawing chairs. If you have a reference for one or make it really simple, that's completely fine. So yeah, this is where I am at after about kind of 3 hours just kind of jamming. I got to start putting videos together, but I wanted to leave you with a couple comments about cranking out these elevations. These are basically going to be the bulk of the work that you're doing for this project at this point. So I hope you guys are really comfortable with the tools because that takes time. All right, yeah, I will start putting these all together now.